Hello, travelers. Welcome to the Copperfoxinn. I am Thomas the Human Bard, and I am joined by...
Onog the half-orc barbarian.
And we've done it. We've come out the other end of the journey on our... side quest.
Why do these Radiant side quests take more time than the actual written side quests?
Mainline campaign. Yeah.
It's just busy work at this point.
You know, if you'd told me a month or two ago Wizards of the Coast was going to come up with a 13-page long adjustment to the game, I don't know if I would have believed you, because they hadn't been coming out with much Unearthed Arcana at all. Now at the end of it, I'm glad they did, but also, wow, this was a lot to get through. There was a lot in there, man.
Yeah.
What are some highlights looking back on it for you?
I mean, it's just interesting how, like, certain classes got overhauled compared to, like, some classes that didn't even get any actual changes, kind of a thing.
Yeah, if you're a wizard, you got nothing.
If you're a wizard, if you're a divination wizard, you're now better. Or if you're a normal wizard and you want to spring for divination, the spell. That's basically it.
Yeah. Or if you're a rogue, you can technically aim your weapon now. Which
if
is
you're
nice.
a rogue, you can stick it to your DM who wasn't letting you hide before and get advantage anyways.
Yeah. But then you compare that with warlocks, with rangers, with fighters, and like there's a lot going on in here.
It's like the passing out of like fundamental class subclass abilities to other classes, the complete exclusion of some fundamental class abilities to the point that they are obsolete because they were in the first place. It's such an interesting take. And honestly, this is just we do have to keep into account this is Unearthed Arcana. This is not like the final product. This is,
playtest material.
A lot of these will likely change.
Yeah. Whenever this, because sometimes they make Unearthed Arcana as a means of just sort of having fun and playing around and being a little like frisky with, I don't know, what if we made this kind of new race or something? And it never really shows up. This has got to be an early rough draft of something that's going to show up in some printed material.
This is a
soon.
Precursor to a new book.
Yeah, this is definitely insight into a new book that's asking for the community's feedback to play test it, to see what does and doesn't help, to see what does and doesn't fix certain classes, all that stuff. I really think this is that. It's not just playing around for fun. Make a strange new rules adjustment, like I don't know, Greyhawk Initiative or something
Bees
like that.
Ranger.
Bees. I know. I believe that's going to be the main class upcoming in a new subclass compendium. I think this is a bit of a peek behind the design process where they probably put this together as a first draft for an upcoming printed work, and they were like, I don't know, some people might not like these changes, and somebody somewhere went, let's put it out as an Unearthed Arcana, see what happens, keep up on the Reddit, keep up on Twitter, see what people are saying, have people play test it, and we'll make adjustments afterwards. So some things might stay, and some things might get a little bit moved around or reworked. That's very possible. I think something like the Beastmaster Ranger new companion options with the Beast of the Air and Beast of the Earth are movements in the right direction, but not quite there yet. And they're gonna hear that back, and they're either going to scrap it and not give it like work on something completely different for it, or they're going to take that feedback and make some updates and see if that changes it at all. But other stuff, I just think is going to be an auto include in most people's games going forward. There's a bunch of stuff in here that it's hard to argue against including in your D&D game.
The overall, the overhauls of like spellcasting, how you learn new spells. I think that was already basically an auto include in any of my games anyways. Because it would be, someone, if someone truly came up to me and said, hey, I really regret taking this spell and we're not going to level up for a while. Is there any way I can swap this out for something? I would definitely give it to them. And so like the fact that you can just do that anytime you want is super, super
now there's
useful.
A mechanic for it.
Yeah, there's now an actual written down mechanic for oops.
For oops all spells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Out of all of the things in here, I think the fighter is my favorite overall. It's the
Yeah.
highlight for me. The new maneuvers, the new fighting styles. I feel like I want to make 10 new fighters, and they're all going to be very different from each other. And I
Yeah,
think
this
that's going to
just
be really
expands
fun.
it out so much farther.
Yeah, I really like that. I think the fighter is really, really interesting. It's just so cool. I love that. And then the other one being, I think that I want to try this version of a ranger, maybe not a beastmaster, but just a normal, just a hunter ranger or something, and see if
See
it
how it
feels
plays.
if it feels better or worse than favored terrain, and how the hunter's mark applying with the new ability works and all that. Overall, I think that's the one I'm most curious about. Things like Warlock, there's some cool stuff in there, but I'm not all that interested in it really. Like there's nothing in it that draws me to Warlock that strongly. The new Pact Boon is like, it's cool,
Yeah,
but
the
not
pack
one that I'm so drawn to that I have to give it a shot.
the pack boon inspires me to like offer to like build a character with another player when starting a new thing. It inspires me to make a character that they're basically a bard warlock, that their entire point is that they are cooperative with another character. And
Yeah.
like I'm very curious to see how that would work, how that gets applied, because it is clearly like inferior to a majority of the other pack boons out there.
Yeah.
But like it incentivizes a different kind of play, which I find very intriguing, because it's like, I mean, ultimately the difference between a tome warlock and a Pact of the Chain warlock is how gnarly their familiar is, you know.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
just one of those things where it's just like it ultimately in the end doesn't really make that big of a difference, but like depends on what flavor you want to go with this same style of play. Whereas like Pact of the Sword or Pact of the Blade is like super cool because it like incentivizes a melee fighter kind of a thing.
Yeah, definitely. I also think that I have somewhere in my desires now a circle of land druid who never really wild shapes and just conjures their familiar and uses a lot of spells and is much more of a like actual like shaman type druid and less of a I turn into a bear every round because why wouldn't I? That's the best thing I can do.
Yeah, this Unearthed Arcana, for a lot of different classes, it solves a problem of, but I never use that resource.
Yeah, sure.
For certain classes, it doesn't really address the case of, but I always use my resource and I need more of it, particularly in the case of the sorcerer. The sorcerer is given more options on what to do with their sorcery points and then no other way to gain sorcery points, kind of a thing. Which is
Yeah.
like, personally, for a guy who loves sorcerers over wizards because I'm stupid, um, like it kind of hurts a little bit that like everyone got all these cool things and the sorcerer got more options, but they didn't get any more real benefits, kind of a thing.
Not just direct like boosts to
Yeah,
anything.
not a direct boost. Whereas, like, you know, it hurts my heart as a sorcerer watching the ranger get all of these like expanded and auto included spells on their spell list, and I was like, hey, what if I wanted one of those? You
I'd
know,
like a spell.
I'd really like a spell to cast. That'd be cool. Oh, I guess I'll just cast Fireball again. I don't know. I only
Yeah.
know 2 third-level spells because I'm only allowed so many spells.
Overall, if you had to say, if Wizards of the Coast had rolled a d20 for their skill check on making this Unearthed Arcana, what number do you think they rolled?
I would say at least a 15. This a lot of these, and especially because they are portrayed as these are just optional rules, even if they do get fully implemented in like a book,
Yeah.
it will probably be. And these are just more advanced, optional, like
Yeah.
hard mode rules that you can play with.
A
It's
D&D 5th edition or
yeah,
something.
it's great, and
Yeah.
I think we're on our way to like an advanced player's handbook that like for players who have been playing for the past 5 years, who want to see that kind of versatility and
Complexity, yeah.
adaptability and complexity that was present in 3.5, they can seek it out through this,
Yeah. But it's not required
but
for
it's
if
not
you just are
required.
coming into the game. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I think I might be a little bit higher on it than you are. I feel like they rolled like a 17, maybe even an 18. I really enjoy the vast majority of this. There's only a couple of things that I thought were either underwhelming or just designed kind of in the wrong
absolute
direction.
Missteps.
Yeah. But overall, I think you would be hard pressed to convince me to not include almost all of this from now on in games that I play. Or at least allowing them to be included if the player wants it to be.
If the player seeks it out, I will definitely allow any kind of spell or cantrip versatility to be applied.
Yeah, definitely. All right, that's our overview. Any other final thoughts, Onog?
It's just Wizards of the Coast is very aware of the issues with the Ranger, but they're not quite sure how to fix them.
They'll get there one day. I believe in them.
I think there is like it's going to be one of those things where in 5 years we're going to see an elegant and beautiful answer to the problem, and we're going to go, why did we ever complain all that time about the Ranger? And it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree. Great. Keep it up, Wizards. Give us some more. Put out another 13-page Unearthed Arcana tomorrow.
Maybe keep it to 5. Maybe keep it down to 5.
Keep a couple of shorter pages. Yeah, give us more. I always want more to look through here. This playtest material is always really interesting to me, just to see where they're experimenting, where their head's at as far as future design work goes.
Yeah, this was a blast to just kind of see what... And kind of like we talked about in our introductory episode, where it's like this tells you what they think needs to be fixed and what they think doesn't need to be changed at all. So it's like clearly wizards and rogues and barbarians in their books are like
doing
perfect.
Yeah,
are doing right. Just great, and everybody else maybe needs a little bit of help now and again.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listeners, what did you think? Overall, as you have listened to the past, 30 hours of discourse we've had over these class feature variant options, what do you think? Do you think that Wizards of the Coast did a critical success or a critical failure? Comment your opinion below and tell us what you think overall of this Unearthed Arcana. Are you going to be including this? Are you going to be convincing your players not to include this and telling them they're not allowed to in your games? And if so, what's your reasoning behind that? Let us know down below. And as always, give us a like and subscribe for more future content. With that, we'll wrap it up. Excited to see more of this. We'll have another full episode coming out sometime soon. And until then, keep on adventuring. We're done.
Oh gosh, we're done.